ISO, let's get it. Whoa, clear out the room, I'm coming through. They wanna see what I'm about. Yeah, I got skills, do it for the thrill. I'm on a paper route. Extra, read about it. I'm today's trending topic. I put commas over bullshit. Yeah, I put that on mamas. They tryna block all my blessings. They thought I lost the stepping. I bet on me and my team. ISO is what I'm rapping. Put on for the whole city. Yeah, I got them rocking with me. I bet on me and my team. ISO is what I'm rapping.
Sending emojis. I'm blowing a pack of that OG. Don't be acting like you know me. And if you did, that's the old me. Winter time, rock a cold fleece. Pocket fat, that's obese. Only talking money if it's increased. She give me brain, girl, no teeth. I touch down, bust down. She busted open for a real day. Stay Tommy'd up, trying to build it up, trying to count it up, hill figures. Don't be chilling with no lil. And if I do, I be real with them. Chase a dream, that's a meal ticket. ISO gang, yeah, they still with us. I put it in motion, they got me steady. Thoughts on my mind, it's weighing heavy. Watch how I shine, tell them I'm ready. I'm hitting my stride, let's get to the fetty. I was just sitting back watching them go. Racks on me now, yeah, it's looking slow. I hold it down and I got my own. Keeping it grown, we back to the bone. Yeah, flying flashy, ayy, ayy. We too fancy, ayy, ayy. Can't walk past me, ayy, ayy. Right up your alley, wait. I gotta play it safe. Watch me isolate, watch me isolate, ayy. Watch me isolate. Whoa. Clear out the room, I'm coming through. They wanna see what I'm about. Yeah, I got skills, do it for the thrill. I'm on a paper route. Extra, read about it. I'm today's trending topic. I put commas over bullshit. Yeah, I put that on mamas. They tryna block all my blessings. They thought I lost the stepping. I bet on me and my team. ISO is what I'm rapping. Put on for the whole city. Yeah, I got them rocking with me. I bet on me and my team. ISO is what I'm rapping. Rather be alone in my zone writing poems. When I get in, I take a shower, read a book and feel empowered. Smoking on that sour got me counting down the hours, thinking of all the shit that they could do but won't allow us. Then I realize they all some cowards. The world is ours. Me and my brother twin like the towers, and we want it now, never later. No more favors done with all these traitors who be haters on the low. They just hate to see you grow, so I'd rather be alone in my zone writing poems, cause I'm never on the road. And I'd rather stay at home, and life been moving fast lately, trying to get a grasp, and every day I'm mad lately. Never let it drive me crazy, do this for my old lady. They told us stay quiet, better close your lips. Yeah.
Yo, what's going on, Geek Corner? This is your boy Earth Mac, the mad scientist, and Boogie Blends in his absence today. Typically, Boogie Blends is my partner in crime for Thursday evening, but he had prior engagement, so it's just me today. Now, part of the show, the original part of the show was our top 10 Sega Genesis games of all time. So that's been moved to next week. A little bit of other news is that on Sunday, there will be a live drawing, like an actual artwork being made as I'm interviewing this artist named Michaela. Michaela will be the artist, and I will be premiering that interview at 7 p.m. on Sunday. So it's for you guys to watch and enjoy. And please hit that like button and subscribe button and notification bell and everything else in between, because the more likes we get, the more it spreads out to the masses. And shout out to the Twitter followers out there, the Geek Corner members of Twitter. Go ahead and repost and share and comment and like and do everything else you feel like this show needs. You know what I'm saying? So but today today we got a jam-packed show for you guys today. Just recently, we got the Acolyte, which was yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, or the day before yesterday, and I was able to watch the first 2 episodes of the Acolyte. And also, we will be talking about Helldivers 2 that just released a trailer for the Viper Warbond, and we also will be talking about Jordan Peele reportedly meeting with the MCU executives and what he could be working on in the future. I have a wild theory on that, and it's not something that you probably is not even thinking about, but it's something Jordan Peele mentioned like some odd years ago. But we're definitely going to jump into all that. Now, first thing we're going to jump into is the Acolyte. I'm going to tell you, that was a really, really good Star Wars start. You know what I'm saying? And I know with the Star Wars series, it's been kind of hitting or missing. I know Boba Fett wasn't hitting like it was supposed to, but you know, it was still decent nonetheless. Ahsoka was really, really good. I know this series escapes me right now. Andor was fairly decent. It was a slow burn, but it got to where it needed to go. And Obi-Wan, I think people are a little burned out on the Skywalker saga. You know what I'm saying? I mean, a lot of people have been asking for Knights of the Old Republic type of stuff, or the High Republic, which this is where the Acolyte is set in. This is set in the High Republic era. So this is before the Phantom Menace. This is before the Skywalker saga. This is like totally different, which honestly, that is a breath of fresh air for that series. And the main characters of what we've seen in this series is Osha and May. Now, when it first came out, May is an assassin, and she is hunting down Jedi Masters. And it's not just any Jedi Masters. She's looking for a specific name and how to kill them based off the Sith Lord that's ordering her to kill these Jedi Masters. But she has to kill them in a certain way. Like, there's one Jedi Master she has to kill without a weapon. So she's going through trials on the Sith side. And also the unique thing about this character is that she's using daggers, but she is using the Force, but she's using daggers. She's not even using a lightsaber at this point. I mean, of course, the series itself is not 100% perfect, but it's good enough though to keep my interest, because to me, those first 2 episodes was pretty fire. I was looking for Indara to actually live. You know what I'm saying? Because she was doing some work and she seemed like she was so unbothered in that fight. And for her to actually get taken out by a dagger in the chest, I was like, it's a little anticlimactic, but I get the plot device in that. So I get it. I understand. The other characters in here is Osha, and you know, the scene switches over to Osha, and she's a mechanic, and she's basically a mechanic. And at first, looking at it, when you look at the series, you're thinking, wait a minute. So is she's moonlighting as a Jedi assassin? Like, if she's during the day, if you call it day, you're in space, whatever. If you're out here fixing stuff during the day, but then when you get a minute, you sneak out and you go kill off some Jedi Masters. That's what you do. You double shifting out here. That's what you're doing. But come to find out, Osha and May are twins, and Osha was unaware that May was alive because both her and her Jedi Master soul saw her die, but apparently she didn't. And also, she has a friend named Yord Fonder and Jackie Lawn. And here's the thing about this, right? We all know Sith are like bad guys. We see them do some serious atrocities, and you know, they burn people alive, like you know Uncle Owen. You seen what happened in Star Wars. I mean, burn them alive. So I mean, that was the stormtroopers doing, but still yet. But the Jedi is not squeaky clean either, man. So you mean to tell me, and I want to say it's common knowledge, right? You mean to tell me to be a Jedi, you're not supposed to have no emotions whatsoever? Like, if you see a loved one, you know, die, you can't feel no sort of anger, sadness, or whatever the case may be. Look at that, my birder just dropped. My birder dropped, man. What is going on with my birder? But either way, that right there is just like crazy. Like, I'm not supposed to feel no kind of emotions. Like, if another Jedi feel that I have emotions about someone that I grew up with, someone that I've been around like my entire life, and all of a sudden they're not there, you're not supposed to feel anything. You're supposed to just, hey, well, you know, let them go. That's what it is. That's the power of the Force or whatever. Like, no. Like, they do some scandalous things, and the more I watched those first 2 episodes, I kind of understand where Palpatine was coming from. I'm just saying, I'm not saying I would be a Sith. I'll probably be gray right there in the middle, because I feel like that's in that regard, I feel like that would be the happy medium. But I kind of understand where Palpatine is coming from, why he feels the way he feels. I mean, of course, they do things that is diabolical or whatever case would be. If you read any of the Star Wars comics, or when Vader became Vader and Palpatine, introduced the Inquisitors and had Vader fight them, and Vader's like, this is not of the Force, and Palpatine like interjected and say something else. Like, it's, just playing with the emotions. But on the Sith side, it's too far to the left. And on the Jedi side, I feel like it's too far to the right. Because if you're on the Sith side, you let your emotions dictate everything you do. And if you're on the Jedi side, you're not supposed to have emotions whatsoever. Like, you're supposed to just like, what off a dust back. But I feel like if you're gray, you let your emotions dictate your actions when it's warranted. Like, within reason. You're not too far left or too right. You're right there in the middle. So if I had to pick to be a Jedi, or pick to be someone that is that has Force powers, I would actually just pick gray. I mean, that's just what it is. Now, since this is in the High Republic era, there's no, it's not really any recognizable faces, and I do like that. I do like the fact that there's a breath of fresh air. Now, I'm not going to claim to say that I am a Star Wars expert. Now, I have watched, I'm born in 85. So I watched episode 4, 5, and 6, and then later episode 1, 2, and 3, which was okay. And then 7, 8, 9. We don't want to talk about that. I feel like Rogue One is top tier stuff. Empire Strikes Back is, to me, the best Star Wars movie. I mean, a lot of reveals and all the other stuff. So, with this series, though, again, I say this is a breath of fresh air for Star Wars fans. And I'm not familiar with the books, but we still haven't gotten Knights of the Old Republic. We still haven't gotten that. Matter of fact, per Screen Rant, the showrunner for the Acolyte stated that she wants to do a Knights of the Old Republic live action series based off the video game. I was like, man, that will sell like hotcakes, because it's something fresh, it's something new, it's no familiar faces. It makes you more immersed into the Star Wars like lore, and there's comics all over the place. There's I think there's Sana Starros. I have her comic. I have a Darth Vader #1 comic. And I'm never taking that out the bag, by the way. Never doing that. But there's various Marvel Star Wars comics that are out there for us to read, and you get to see all these other adventures that Vader goes on. This is like before, I feel like this is before Empire and Return of the Jedi. Who he meets this young lady. This young lady has a CP or a C3PO droid, but it's not C3PO. It's one of those, and this droid is dark and has red eyes and likes torturing people. He takes joy in splitting you open. That's that unaliving you, torturing you to death till you unalive. But another thing to read, Rogue Squadron. That's another one. Like, I feel like there's so many things you could do with the Star Wars storyline. Right now, the Acolyte, which honestly I feel like by leaps and bounds is better than the majority of the series that came out outside of Mandalorian, because Mandalorian was great stuff. You could do Knights of the Old Republic. You could do Rogue Squadron. You could do so many things. It's a lot more characters out there in Star Wars besides Luke, Leia, Han, Vader, Kylo, Palpatine. There's other characters out there, and I mean, truth be told, I mean, Vader is one of the most powerful Siths out there, but is he truly the most powerful? Maybe not. I did hear about this Darth Raven, or something like that. Do not crucify me, Star Wars fans. Okay, don't do that. But I heard he was a mofo. I heard he could do some serious damage. And I look on the reviews, right, on Google. When I googled the Acolyte, by IMDb standards, they gave it a 4.9 out of 10. First of all, let me tell you something. Please do not go by that review. I think we are smart enough to not go by reviews by Google, because in Rotten Tomatoes, it got a 93%. 93%. Now, is there some things they need to clean up? Because OSHA, I feel like there was a part where she was in prison, and obviously she's getting blamed for killing Jedi Masters. Like, she's going through trial, and Soul don't believe none of that, but he has to do what the order tells him to do, basically. And he's like, I'm not going to betray the order. But at the same time, you got this guy that's laying down, and he has like this alien on his face, and they told her he's a notorious villain, and that's why they put this alien on his face. And then they plan an escape. She doesn't want to escape. Pip, the droid, was able to get her out, but by her getting to the escape pod, I feel like the Jedi in her was like, I'll have to save this guy. I have to save this guy too. Only for her to get pushed to the side, for him to jump in the escape pod and ride out, for her to, to crash down. And obviously she's alive, but still yet, man. I mean, I feel like that dude that betrayed me, I'm gonna have to see him. Like, that's gonna be some get back on that. But I do feel like OSHA is a little gullible in that regard. And also, I was very, very curious on why they didn't introduce OSHA to May right out the gate. Like, when Soul told May, your sister is alive. No, you're a liar. Am I? Boom. Here is OSHA right here. Like, why didn't you lead with that? Like, but I do understand, like, you're trying to get information. You're trying to find out who this master is. And we don't know. And there's been some theories. There's been a theory circling around that Khmer is actually the Sith Lord, the merchant that had the poison, that created the poison. And I feel like that's not really far-fetched either, because I think there was some interesting takes where he got close to OSHA and he was like, you just like your sister, you have your sister's eyes, or something like that. Like, immediately, the minute he walked up close to her, he knew this ain't May. Like, why you came back to talk to me? Why, what's going on? So I feel like maybe he's playing a part of being a person that just, I can't fight. I don't know what the Force is. Please don't kill me with your lightsaber, to a Sith Lord. Maybe he's that. That's just a theory, but I mean, it's only the first 2 episodes so far. But overall, I do feel like this Star Wars series is really, really good. And I feel like it's only up from here. Like, I don't think it's gonna like take a step back or anything like that. But I do feel like this is a really good series. The budget for this series is $180 million, which is not, by movie standards or series standards, I don't feel like that's a whole lot, especially for Disney. And I think what they've done with the first 2 episodes, that just lets us know, like, okay, it's really good. It's not cookie cutter or anything like that. So we're gonna keep it rolling with that. Now, since we on the Disney train, we got to talk about Jordan Peele may join the MCU. Now this goes along with a theory of mine, and I'm gonna have to share that with you. So it's being said, according to Screen Rant, that Jordan Peele may be joining an upcoming Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, according to a new report. The multiverse saga is almost halfway through its big storyline as Marvel Studios pushes forward with Phase 5. Now, as they keep exploring the concept of the multiverse, they are getting closer to the next two Avengers movies, though the latter, Avengers Secret Wars, will supposedly serve as a soft reboot for the franchise. Now, according to journalist Jeff Snyder, reported in his newsletter that Peele met with Marvel Studios recently about working on an MCU movie. Peele has emerged as a big-name director over the last few years. He's helmed major hits like Get Out, Us, and Nope, and is currently working on the fourth undisclosed project. So, you ready for my wild theory? There's another property that Marvel has, and it's something that Jordan Peele has expressed interest in writing or directing or creating, and that is Gargoyles. He has expressed interest in that property, and I had to Google it. I said, wait a minute, is Gargoyles is that a Marvel property? And yes, it is. It is a Marvel property. So that could be that wild stab in the dark way out there. And again, I say this is a wild theory. But you look at the work he's done, like I feel like he is a phenomenal director. He's a phenomenal writer. The way he tells stories, the way he puts subliminal messages in his movies, it is very telling. He's a very talented individual. So for him to go over to the more credible, theory to the MCU would be awesome because he would actually tell some great stories. Now, when it comes to the MCU, right now, I feel like the MCU is dictating what comic books is doing. Because if you look at the Age of Krakoa and how it ended, it was a rush job. I mean, it was literally a rush job. Like it wasn't like the greatness that was House of X and Powers of X with Jonathan Hickman. Like there was some hits and there was damn sure some misses, and there were some hits and there were some misses. But one thing I will say though, that Storm came out guns blazing by the end of this thing. Like she got a super powerful son. Like it's wild. So maybe Jordan Peele will do X-Men. Maybe he do a Phase 6 for X-Men. Maybe that's what the deal is. But I'm very excited about that. But I would not be surprised if you do Gargoyles, because that was something he expressed interest in. That's something you could do like multi movies. They don't have to be just one movie, because if you look at the Gargoyles series that's on Disney Plus, go check it out, by the way, if you haven't. That was, for it to be on Disney, it did have some dark elements in it. Like it was, not looking back on it as a kid, like damn, that's it went there. Like there was a point where I think it wasn't Brooklyn, I think it was Hudson, I think. But he accidentally shot, I forgot the character's name, the policewoman. She shot her in the leg because he was curious about a gun. And I was like, wow, they actually went there. So for it to be a live action, is very, very possible for it to be a live action. But if it's not my wild theory, maybe X-Men. Maybe X-Men will be a good jumping point for Jordan Peele, and I'm not cool with that. Now back to what I was saying about the MCU dictating what's going on, because right now the Krakoa era is over, right? A new wave is coming. So you got the adjectiveless X-Men coming, you have exceptional X-Men coming, you have Storm #1, you got Wolverine #1. So, and things are changing. So what's interesting about this is that, of course, X Factor, X Force, you got those coming. So none of the X-Men are in New York. Like there's one in Louisiana, there's one in Alaska, and I know there's another team somewhere else, but none of them are in New York, like the typical base of operations. They're not there. But I truly believe that MCU is dictating how these comics are being, how these comics are being told, and that can be a good thing or that can be a bad thing, because right now the MCU is not really shall you say it's not really hitting on all cylinders. You know what I'm saying? Like the movies don't really Okay, some of the movies suck. I give you that. Some of the movies suck, but I will say that I think lackluster is a terrible word, terrible way to say that, but it could be better. But I can carefully explain this because for 10 years we was building the Infinity, Gauntlet, the Infinity Ward, and the gems and everything else. Everything connected. There was an after credit scene connected to something else, and there was chronological order. And then when you finally get to that point, when you finally get to that big bad, and you have a two-parter, and you finally get that dub. Now you left with the now what, and that is an Achilles heel right there. Because now, who's next after Thanos? Us comic book fans have a plethora, a rose gallery full of Marvel villains that can challenge the Avengers, and where the hell are the mutants at? Like, we got to have the mutants in there and everything else in between. So, but the MCU, like, where you got to deal with the aftermath of it all. Hawkeye dealing with survivor's remorse, and Black Widow no longer being around. Thor's still around, but he's traveling around in space. Peter Quill is around, but Gamora is not around, so you got people dealing with the aftermath of Thanos and picking up the pieces, and then you have the multiverse situation. So, and obviously Jonathan Majors put a monkey wrench in that. What you gonna do now? Which honestly and truly, you could do Doctor Doom. Doctor Doom is an easy sell. But I'd rather have Doctor Doom in like Fantastic Four first or something like that. But Doctor Doom is such a polarizing character, such an interesting character. And if you haven't read Doom #1 by Sanford Green, you might, and Jonathan Hickman, by the way, you might want to go check that out, because I think second printing is coming out really, really soon. You definitely want to check that out. I think Deadpool and Wolverine, that is going to be the shot in the arm that Marvel needs in the MCU to catapult this thing into a better thing. And like, this really, to me, I haven't even seen the movie yet. This has potential to be the best Marvel movie this year. Like, period. So, and everybody is excited about it. And maybe that might jumpstart some things. Maybe you have a bunch of cameos and other X-Men shown and stuff like that. But again, I don't want the MCU to dictate what the comic books are doing, because they need to be a difference. Because in the comics, the stories are more convoluted, and especially X-Men comics. And sometimes things go off without explanation close to the end, because, sometimes you might write yourself into an impossible situation. And because, comics, and that's what happens. Like in the Krakoan comic book, like, Apocalypse just goes off. Like, he just punches the shit out of Exodus, and then he fights the X-Men, he fights the mutants or whatever. And then even though Storm comes by, he chills out, and Jean comes by and Emma Frost, like, listen, we are where you wanted to be. Like, this is what you wanted out of us. And he just simply says, I don't care. And he disappears. I'm like, well, that's terrible writing. But that's not on the writers, though. That's just from the hires that's rushing this thing off, and without taking their sweet time and telling the story properly. But X-Men 700 is out. The comic book itself don't suck. It don't. You can just tell there were some points in time where it gets rushed. It feels rushed. Like, let's go ahead and end this Krakoan age and just start anew. Like, just clean slate. And also, any mutants that died, they were resurrected like one last time before Krakoa goes off into the White Hot Room, or I think that's where it went. But yeah. So also, lastly, for this bit of news, Helldivers content is on the way. Just today, they released a trailer. We're gonna check that trailer out, and I'm thinking they are actually listening to the fans. So we're gonna check this trailer out, and also I'm gonna read what the developer said about the new content and what their plans are. Combat knife, baby. Combat knife. So, I mean, whoo, man, with this new Helldivers content, I really do like that content because one of the things that we asked for was melee weapons, right? Like swords or combat knives. And this armor here is I want to say innovative. Innovative is like a wasn't the word I'll use, but different. You know, they're not using different colors for the same type of armor. Like this armor got some character to it. Like this some Rambo type stuff, right? So I really do like the skin change and stuff like that, because one of the main things that us as players was asking for was the fact that we could just change skins like shaders or whatever. And I think that's coming down the turnpike, like more of it. And then the fact that there's a throwing knife, a combat knife you can use against the Terminids or the automatons. And I mean, and obviously there is a big hole that we created and something gonna come through that hole and we're gonna have to fight it. And you know, it's no secret, it's the Illuminate that's going to be coming very, very soon, and they are the mofos. Okay, they are the end all be all. Okay, like we gonna need help. All right, we're gonna need more stratagems, we're gonna need more weapons, we're gonna need more armor, we're gonna need all that, because this is dire straits here. But I'm definitely gonna jump into what a developer said as far as give me one quick second. Maybe I can pull it up. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so it says, Liberty's greetings, Helldivers. Are you ready to learn all about the new Viper Commandos war bond? Now, firstly, we have been listening to your feedback as we develop our war bonds in general. The idea behind each war bond is to allow our Helldivers to role play their favorite soldier fantasies within our universe, but it's important that these are the fantasies that actually appeal to our players. Now, we're changing our approach to war bonds moving forward based on the player input in a couple ways. Firstly, we're slowing down the pace at which we release war bonds to give us a little bit more time to polish the designs before they're released. We don't want to rush anything out of the oven before it's fully baked. Now, secondly, we are changing the arrangement of items in each war bond to make room for new item types and also higher quality armors and weapons. This will prevent us from simply adding more of everything, leading to weapons that feel redundant and uninteresting armors. It's time to focus on quality over quantity. And when we started researching items for Viper Commandos, we wanted to be sure we answered our player calls for stronger theming that coordinates across all items, more emotes, unique armor passes, and more thoughtful designs rather than simply giving more of the same. We can't wait for players to get a hold of our latest edition. So let's dive into what's in store. You know what, to be honest, I really do applaud, you know, that effort they've been put in, because that's one of the main gripes. One of the main gripes is that, you know, the last war bond, the Polar War bond, it wasn't really worth it, you know, overall. You know, I mean, the armor looked cool, but if you really pay attention to it, like that type of armor, how it looks, like that's one of the earlier armors, but just a different color. Now the weapons, though, were really nice to me. They were really nice to me. So, I mean, you know, you're not spending an exorbitant amount of money on them either, because you got super credits, right? So you're earning your super credits and you're not like spending crazy amounts of money. That's another thing. So you're not really losing out. Also, Sony literally screwed over Helldivers, man. Like that. Why would you do that? Like you have over 150,000, and I'm lowballing 150,000 players playing this game, and you decide to say, hey, you need to have a Sony account. By the way, it been here the whole time. So you should have read that. Nobody don't give a shit about what they read. Here's the thing. And then they reneged on it, basically. And they said, well, we're not gonna do that. But at the same time, now there's players across the world that cannot play Helldivers. So the player count has literally dropped like significantly because of that fact. Like Sony torpedoed, they shot themselves in the foot where they had a successful game. I mean, which it still is. Like it's this is a game of the year candidate. Like 12 million copies in 12 weeks. Why would you fumble the bag like that? Why would you do that? And I feel like if there's enough people being vocal about it, like they have to fix this. They have to fix that issue because they need to make that game available for everyone because that game was awesome. I mean, that game is awesome. It still is. But they're definitely working on New War Bond, spreading it out a little bit further. That way, when you get the content, it won't be like, oh man, there's glitches. One of the other main complaints is the buffer of a gun or the nerf of a gun. Like soon you start enjoying it, it's a certain nerf that comes to it, which is annoying because you don't want to make things too easy. And I feel like balance is a little difficult when it comes to games like this because honestly, from a story standpoint, you are fodder. Okay, you're not the main character. You are the background soldiers. Like in the Great Ninja War in Naruto, you just like the regular shinobi that's out there. You know, you're not one of the characters. You know, you're an extra. That's what we are. So with that, you are thrust into dire straits. Like you are in an impossible situation. Yes, you're supposed to fight, but you know, when your character dies, your character is gone. Like another character is taking its place. That's why these ships have multiple bodies on these ships because they got everybody in cryostasis. That's the story part of it. But I think on the player side of it, they're not understanding that. Like it's supposed to be a bleak situation. It's not supposed to be a situation where you run through it, especially on Helldive mode. Like you're supposed to rush through it and get the missions done because you're that badass. That's not really the case here. You're not supposed to do that. So hopefully, you know, especially with the developers, they find some kind of balance because honestly and truly, I can't express enough how I commend this team that create Helldivers because they're so focused on making this game so great and listening to feedback on Twitter, actually playing the game, understanding the frustrations and also the victories and everything else in between. Like they understand all these things. And, you know, they deserve a game of the year candidate, man. That's something we've been asking for years. You know what I'm saying? Look at Destiny 2, the final shape. There's some people that can't get in the game because the queue full, or they got some glitches going on. But at the same time, there's some people that don't have these issues at all. So, and I used to be a Destiny player, but I'm not a Destiny player now. But Destiny has a loyal fan base. We're talking 10 plus years of Destiny. And you got the final shape, which may or may not be a final chapter. And I feel like if this is your swan song, if this is your end for D2, you should be flawless. You a AAA studio, you charging $50, $100 for the season pass or whatever the case may be. If I'm spending that money, you better be damn near flawless. Whether I got it or not, because I'm paying you for quality. And I feel like the Destiny players out there that's been loyal to Destiny, been playing it from the beginning, from day one up to now, I feel like, hey, they feel the same way. Like, don't give me chicken shit. One day we're gonna get into Destiny. I spend $50 and I spend $100 and I can't play it on day one. What is that? What is that? That's crazy. That's crazy. But I feel like Helldivers, on that standpoint, though, I think is hopefully they can get a situation fixed where the player count jump back up again. Because right now I'm looking at maybe 50,000 playing, which is still good. That's still good, honestly. Like the player count is dropping because the game sucks. I mean, it's dropping. It dropped because of what Sony did. But But now it seems like they found like a happy medium, man. We're gonna see what this Viper Commando Warbond getting, because I'm gonna get that. Like that, man. Whoo. And we got jungle stages, man. Look, we could have used that and at the creek. We could have definitely used that at the creek. And we know we can go back to the creek. Hopefully we fight the Illuminate. But anywho, that is our show for today. Again, hit that like and subscribe button. And yes, we have a live art drawing on Sunday. We'll premiere at 7 p.m. Eastern time. Myself and Michaela. Okay. Go ahead and check that out on Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern time on our YouTube channel. It will be on our YouTube channel on a premiere. And for our Twitter followers, go ahead and repost, share, like, comment. And I will give you the schedule. Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays between 7 and 8 p.m. we will have a live show. On Monday, it's all anime, baby. It is all anime. Tuesday, all pro wrestling. And Thursday, all geekdom news. So, and then we got some special guests lined up across the way. So Monday, myself and Vivo. Tuesday, myself and the infamous Alvin Staley. And Thursday, Boogie Blends and myself. So I hope you guys have an awesome night tonight on this fresh Thursday. This is Friday Eve, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys have an awesome weekend. So until next time, y'all. Peace.